What's up, boys and girls, ladies and gents, ladies and gent? That was about those the two I had there. Um, Today's video is going to be on risk, risk and contradiction and stuff like that. I was recently I write all the time, and I was recently writing and I was thinking about it, because generally so here's some context. I don't even know if anybody cares, but whatever. I guess this channel is basically my diary now, my video journaling. So enjoy the weird systems that is my mind. So the things that I want generally, I'm looking for somebody who's going to be kind of like weird or silly or goofy, is going to be like really sweet and really nice, is going to be pretty attractive, and also accept me for who I am. Probably have like some kind of moral system in there to make sure they're not like necessarily a horrible person. Like if they think bad things, they do bad things, they regret it. However, and I also want them to like be kind of humble. That is a crazy combination of things because it is hard to have all of those and like maintain a sense of humility about it. And also, to the same extent, I actually don't know if I want somebody to be humble or if it's like a toxicity, like I want them to like be insecure. Because I think I want them to be humble. Because like, okay, for example, like something that's very frustrating to me, like I'm not super sexual. Like I'm not trying to smash all the time. I'm not trying to do any of that. And um, guys have kind of ruined it for guys who are not always trying to smash because um, guys are just gassing these girls up, and girls are also gassing each other up. That guys are just always trying to hit, and a lot of guys are right, but it's not like a catch all, right? Like some girls are like, I'm gonna be like an S tier seductress, and it's like, no, it's like not at all, not even moderately, bro. Like stop. Um, and I I find it very attractive, like somebody who has the humility to be like, do you like this? Should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Like stuff like that is really, really nice and kind of lost, I think, in present day. Anyway, I like that. I don't know if that's a healthy thing to like. I think it is, but I'm not sure because I'm kind of damaged. Um, because okay, to some extent, I'm a pretty intelligent guy, right? I'm not like I don't have the how big is my ego? It's pretty big, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. Point is, I'm pretty intelligent. That's not necessarily just like a brag. That's just like a fact. Like I have a certain amount of intelligence. There are people that are smarter than me, much smarter than me. But even with my intelligence, like I could guess what people are thinking, but I would never assume. I would never like hazard that kind of thing. And to people that think that they are intelligent enough to just repeatedly guess what's going on is crazy. Because like to some extent, like men and people are simple creatures, but like people people want to think what they want to think. Like there's an innate bias. Like for me, like I know that I have biases, which is why I don't assume shit, because when I do, then things start going horrifically awry because what I want, what other people want, are often not the same. And if I start to paint a picture of like what another person wants in my head, that could be really bad for me. Um, but like I'm damaged. I'm like greatly damaged. I've had like quite a lot of shit happen to me, and I've done a lot of shit that has left me in kind of a weird position, in terms of like how I interact with people. And I don't know what it is, but people just keep like lost, hurt puppying with like the way I am. Like it's it kind of freaks me out a little bit. And like I mean like people being like gentle and delicate with me, like I fuck with that heavy. Like I'm totally down with that. But like I'm still like a functional human being, Like I work, I pay my taxes, I work out, I like pretty confrontational. Like I'm just more like gentle with the people I talk to, which shouldn't. You know what I mean? It's like I guess it's like most guys are so insensitive, perhaps, or like most interactions have been so poor that the way that people interact with me has to be different as a consequence. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know why that happens. it's a very frustrating thing though, because then I have to like fight against like the version of me that's in somebody's head, and I don't even know how to do that, right? Like, where is the humility to like take the version inside of your head and just pretend like I'm right in front of you telling you what I'm thinking, you know? This isn't even like a specific situation. This is just it's quite constant, I guess. It's a little frustrating. Another thing is like people will be like, "Oh, like, you know, you're in the past, you're living in the past, whatever, like stuff like that." And it's like I've lived a lot, bro. Like I've seen a lot of shit in my life. Like a lot of shit. I've done a lot. I've had done to me a lot. I've seen, you know? And all of these things, all these experiences like have formed me into the quality of man I am today, for better or for worse. But like people are like, "Oh, like you're living in the past." Oh, that was so long ago. But it's like a long time ago, I would say I had a lot of strength and evil. And perhaps a few years ago, rather than many years ago, I had a lot of weakness, um, and evil and good. I guess I did a decent amount of good things. Um, but I talk about all of this, but obviously, like I'm going to remember like the evil and strong like most fondly, right? Like that's the part of me that I want to reconnect to. That's that's me, honestly. I'm definitely uh, a little different than I was in the past, but like that's obviously still me. I guess not obviously, right? I'm the only one who can know that because I'm the only one with that context, which is how I try to explain it. Um, the reason why I connect so hard to my further past than my most recent past is because generally when I value someone, I value them because this is a super rambly video. I guess I don't know who's gonna give a shit about this, but I guess just me rambling. Anyway, when I value someone, I value them because I know I value them by how much I'm willing to risk for them. And one thing about me is I don't regret like anything in my life. Um, pretty much. Like I might be upset at some of the consequences of stuff that I did, but like the actions themselves, like I know why I did them. Like I could go back, look at myself dead in the eyes, and be like, yeah, I see you, um, and just know it to be true. But to change that, like if I regretted some of the things I did, like I can do almost anything. Like if it's possible for a person, I can settle down and I can do it. I can do what needs to be done repeatedly, right? I'm not going to have any kind of like extra pride or ego or any kind of situation like that because um, I know that I'm not going to regret anything. However, if I were to become a better person, let's say a good person within the context that I'm going to have some kind of system morality where I can look at the bad things I've done and say, hey, that was a bad idea. I should like seek forgiveness or repent or something like that. Um, that might actually destroy my entire worldview, right? The amount of things I've done, not that I've ever been tempted to do so, in terms of regretting things or feeling guilt or anything like that, but like if I were to, that would probably actually destroy my whole frame of reference, right? Like if I looked back at my past, it'd be like a full betrayal of everything I've ever been, all the way up until present day. I wouldn't just be starting from square one, as in like materially. I would mentally be starting from square one, and like it would make essentially like my pseudo death in 2015. It would make it worthless in the grand scheme of things. It would victimize like 2020 instead of being my second worst year. Um, it might be the worst, right? Because then 2015 wouldn't have that kind of relevance. 2020 would definitely not have that much relevance. It'd be beyond victimized. I would have like no agency at any part of my life. I'd just be on a comet hurtling through the sky. Um, Now, thankfully, I don't have like these thoughts of guilt going through my mind all the time. But if I did, I'd be screwed. And when I like left, and I got with, I suppose basically now like my ex-wife, and like metrically bettered myself in every kind of societal good, perhaps, in terms of like not breaking the law, not really doing anything morally dubious. Like, um, that is like it's almost like a full risking of everything I am. I hadn't considered that, but like I generally don't do things I don't want to do, and I did a whole bunch of shit I didn't want to do to try and make that work. And it's not like I got nothing in return. Like obviously the relationship was great, which is why I was willing to do it, and obviously I cared a lot for the other person, which is why I was willing to risk that of myself. But if I had risked that, and then I had found myself in a position to where I was more human than I had originally thought, and like all of my thoughts not only rushed back into my head, but in a different context. It'd be the same concept as everybody who's ever known me throughout the years, especially when I was younger, right? When they grow older, they talk to a therapist or something, and they look back at those years and they go, holy shit, that dude was a psychopath. I would be looking at myself like that. And if even I can't see true to my own memories, I'm like nothing. I'd be like destroyed. Um, like I'm the only person that can take that for myself. No one can make me feel guilty. No one can make me want to regret anything. Only I would have to discover the fact that I have access to that and then put that into action. And to put myself in a situation where I almost did that is really, really crazy to me, because it means that I really cared for that person. Um, which again, it's not too crazy to like care for somebody, but that's more risk than I had originally thought. Because the reason what spurred this on is like I'm going to be going to therapy like pretty soon, and I realized that therapy is like a huge risk. And it's one of the reasons why I never go to therapy is because I do not like myself enough to risk anything for myself. So when I'm at my lowest, I generally I don't like myself. I hate myself, and I don't want to improve anything at that point because I hate myself. So why am I risking anything? And when I'm at my highest, I don't want to change anything because the only things I need at that point is I need like people to like drain energy out of because I'm nuts, right? Like it's not like when I'm at my highest, I'm not like, oh yes, now we should better our mental state. So when we go back down, it's like, oh, I'm gonna stay high for as long as I can, and I'm like completely manic and freaking out. So the whole thing about therapy is literally somebody was just like, you suck, you're not changing anything, and it depresses me. And I was like, nah. I was like, I can change shit whenever I want. I was like, I have an open mind. I can do this. It's just a novelty. I'm literally taking probably some of the greatest and riskiest steps to either improve or like destroy my entire worldview off of like a whim, off of like an amusing novelty. That's kind of hilarious. That's so dumb. I mean, I guess like any reason is like a pretty good reason, but like I have like a S tier control over like my mind, right? Like my mind is probably constantly on fire at war. It's like super upset. I'm really angry all in my head, right? On the outside, I'm like completely stress free. I'm like everything is fine. Any kind of physical test, any kind of stress test, I pass everything with flying colors. My blood pressure is low, my heart rate is low, my stress levels are low, my hormones are low. Like not my hormones, like my cortisol levels, like stuff like that. Like everything that is high stress, I don't have because on the outside, I'm just a very calm individual because I have that much control over my body and my mind. If I were to like crack my own worldview, I don't even know what could happen. I actually have no idea. I don't even know what it looks like to have me without control because I'm such a control freak. The idea of not having that is it's not even. I don't even know what that would look like. Will I just be a normal person afterwards? Do I want to be that? I have no idea. Yeah. I literally I actually don't know. I have no idea. And the reason why I have so much control is also because I am the tendency, the desire, the view of like we'll call it like self deletion or whatever. That's always on my mind, right? That's always like an option. I have so much control over my life. Whenever I decide I want to check out, I check out. That's one of the reasons why everything is like pretty good and pretty stress free. Is because I know that as long as I'm going to be here, I'm going to make this shit happen. I'm going to make the world turn. I'm going to make the world spin. And when I don't want it anymore, I'm out, right? And boom, easy peasy. That's all I have to do. That is why it is so easy for me to stick to my routine. That's why it's so easy for me to get up and do everything I have to do, because I have full control over that. But imagine I didn't. Imagine I go to therapy and we start unlocking things or something like that, or maybe I try medication, because like I don't know if I would permanently go on medication because I wouldn't want to permanently change myself, but I think I'd probably give it a try. I mean, but if I try it and I'm like, and then my brain is like, hey, wait a second, like now that everything's regulated, what the fuck am I doing? Like that is a terrifying concept. Like horrifying. I don't know what I look like at all with that. Yeah, it is a lot to think about. I suppose there's a lot on my mind. Um, what are we searching for? What do we do? Is it even worth it to change? Why do we want to change? What's the point of conforming? Um, if I can find the things I'm looking for without improving myself, like if I found somebody who truly cared about me, they would always want me to improve myself. And I'd always find myself in the position where I'd have to risk my sense of self in order to improve myself to the point where another person would be satisfied. So I always have to do this, whether I do it for another person or myself. I don't even know if I'm doing it for myself. I might be doing it for a person who doesn't exist yet. Or like right now, I might just be doing it on a whim. Just because I know I can. I mean, wild. It's a wild time. This is a wild rambling video of self-discovery, blah 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 blah, philosophy. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But I'm here, I guess. Yeah. Or not. We'll see.